I've been using Spotify pretty consistently for the past couple of years, ever since I really got into music back in 2017. And initially I used Google Play Music, but that was complete dog shit. And then I got Spotify. It was an infinitely better and smoother experience overall. And I've had my ups and downs with it, mainly with its web player and its desktop app. I think it's been a solid experience as a streaming service for music, and it's definitely worth its $10 a month. But my problem is, recently, I've noticed that they have been spamming out releases for a lot of popular artists. This first came to my attention back in October of last year, when, unknowingly, the Beatles had just dropped a new EP. And for anyone who knows anything about the Beatles, is half of them are dead, so why did last year they release an EP for Halloween music? Now, I know what you're gonna say. You're probably gonna say something about how it's common practice for companies to put out compilations and stuff like the Beatles Halloween EP. Well, it's a little different. Well, the thing is, you see, the Spotify has a notification system if you are following certain artists, where you get notified if they release new stuff. The only problem I have with it is that you get notified with that. Take, for example, the Pixies. You know, popular 90s artists, and they still put out albums to this day, even though they may not be good. This year alone, they put out not one, not two, not three, but 16, count them, 16 live albums. And if you're a Pixies fan, and I somewhat am, I still don't want my notifications bombed with something that's as stupid and redundant as knowing about a live album coming out that's going to be playing the same set, just jumbled up a little bit. This reminds me a lot of what Deadheads used to do. You know, people who follow the Grateful Dead often reproduced bootlegs of the Grateful Dead playing live. This is fine, because it's just some dumb boomer pulling out a cassette saying, hey, I have this concert that they performed at Fillmore Hall in 74, where they played this one note different. You want to listen? And not some multi-million-dollar company pushing some random crap down your throat like this. But what can you do? Labels are the scum of the earth. Let's get that out of the way. Labels are kind of scummy, and Spotify is probably at the mercy of these labels. What can we do to prevent this from happening? Well, firstly, my solution, which is entirely theoretical, Spotify is not going to do the solution, because they do not want to supplement the loss of income that would happen because of them not playing every fucking live album and shoving it down your throat as a fan of the Pixies. But here would be my solution. It would probably have to start at the heart of the labels. The labels need to slow down their input into the Spotify sphere. For artists that are like slowing down, like the Pixies, like the Beatles, and, you know, the ones that have obviously passed, they need to respect it more and respect each release and put more effort into the release. Like the 16 Pixies live albums that all came out this year, all of them have basically the same covers with a slight difference to each of them. So what they could do is could build up the release of an album or of a compilation or of a live album a bit more, because it just seems like they're mindlessly dumping this trash and onto the masses and hoping that at least it'll get 1,000 views. Who gives a fuck? If they put more production value into each release, it'll incentivize people. Like, I remember a couple of years ago when they were putting out a Prince compilation showing some recorded versions of songs that we hadn't heard and songs that he wrote but had not released himself. And this was generally a big deal. But I don't think that'll work in more modern sense with these kind of legacy artists that have been out for longer and whatever. And the other solution would be to leave them the fuck alone and to get some new fucking artists. Another thing that I know they constantly do every day of their lives, that's kind of the job of a label, to find new talent, but it feels like they're wasting effort and it's taking up space in the Spotify sphere. My advice to them is to just completely fuck off and put that little bit of money towards some no-label, no-name artist and blow them the fuck up with that little bit of money that you put towards putting out a shitty Pixies live album. That is my advice. And will they take it? No. In conclusion, I can say that this won't change at all as Spotify becomes larger and larger. They might do something to reduce the amount of notifications you'll get about it, or maybe they'll add like a sort filter to the Spotify releases of some of these artists. Like, I know they already did that for the Beatles, where they put some of these releases into compilations instead of releases. Hopefully they kind of grow a pair and tell labels to slow down with their releases. You can't put out an album a minute. You are not fucking Viper.
Haha. Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah. What's up with that? Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with that?